In celebration of Halloween, I'll be making a spooky treat, which I'm gonna serve right in this skull. That's right, I'm gonna give this guy some good brain. Brain cake, that's what we'll be making today. This bloody brain cake is inspired by fall flavors, and one of my favorite fall treats to have is a caramel apple. So I will be making an applesauce cake, super easy to do, in the mixer or bowl. Add some softened butter, brown sugar. This cake isn't really that sweet because later we're gonna make a caramel sauce and some frosting. Some eggs. Applesauce time. This is gonna make it super moist. Make sure it's unsweetened too. You don't want it to be too sweet. Now for the rest of the ingredients, some flour. I'm gonna add this very gradually. Occasionally go down the sides of the bowl to make sure you get everything mixed in. Baking powder and baking soda. The flavorings, I've got some cinnamon powder and ginger powder. It's looking good. Now you could stop right there or add a little bit of coloring. So I have some beet powder here. It's not gonna turn it super red like a red velvet, but just adds a nice little orange brown tint to it when it bakes. And trust me, it doesn't make the cake taste like beets at all. There's our cake batter. Very simple, but super flavorful. Now, I need to make a skull cap shape. So you can get a ball tin like this, which comes with a stand so that it stays stable, or you can use an oven-safe glass or metal bowl. I already buttered and floured my tin. This just ensures that it won't stick to the pan when you try to release it later, because nobody likes a head that gets stuck, you know what I'm saying? Just fill up your tin 2/3 of the way up. You don't want to overfill it. This goes into the oven at a low temperature, so 300 degrees for about 1.5 hours. Because it's so dense, you really want to give it time on a low heat to cook through. While that's baking away, I'm going to make the blood. Now instead of using artificial food coloring, I'm going to use some red wine, because it's an excuse to drink. It's part of my costume. An accessory, really. This is a sort of quickie caramel, super easy to put together. In a saucepan, add the red wine, along with some cloves and a cinnamon stick. Let that simmer on low for about 8 minutes. Remove the cloves and cinnamon, add the sugar, and stir it until it's fully dissolved. Then allow it to simmer on low until it thickens up very slightly. Lastly, stir in a bit of salt. I know it doesn't look like a super thick caramel right now, but you've got to let it cool down and it will thicken up. The cake does all cook through. It's cooled down now so I can handle it. All you have to do is loosen up the edges a bit and pop it out. There we go. If you're serving this right on a platter, you don't have to worry about this, but I just lined the inside of the skull with some wax paper. Just gonna place this right in. All right, so I'm just checking out to see how much I need to shave off, and then I will keep shaving. I'm not gonna waste any of these trimmings. I have a little bit of a gap at the bottom here, at the base of the head. So I'm just gonna use the leftover parts to fill it out. Now I'm going to slice it as evenly as possible into 3 layers. Ahead of time, I made this maple buttercream and colored it with a little bit of that beet powder just to get that pinky, peachy tone here. Before I put the first layer down, I'm just gonna put a little bit of buttercream just to keep the brain in place. We don't want it going insane in the membrane. First layer down. Oh, look how nicely it fits. Spread some buttercream. For the middle layer, I'm gonna use a cookie cutter and cut out the middle piece so that we could put our blood in there. And then spread the inside with some buttercream. We're gonna form a little barrier so that the red wine caramel won't seep through. Now for the blood, I put it in this squeeze bottle just so it makes my life easier. Ooh. And the final cap. Now I'm gonna give it a crumb coat and then put it in the fridge to set. Before you pipe on your brainwaves, I highly recommend placing your cake in its final resting place, aka the serving area. I also suggest looking up brain models so that you can copy the pattern. Remember, there are two hemispheres, so I'm going to start with one and then work on the other side. And now for the finale. Grab a small knife and stab it. Gently, because you don't want to like topple over the cake. Get your blood tube again and go at it. The best part is, this knife, you think it's just for decoration? No honey, it's also for function. You can use it, ooh, sorry guy, to cut yourself a slice. Cutting. You ready for this? Ooh. That is so gross. A fun Halloween cake that's not just gory, but damn delicious too. I really hope you guys give this a try. I'll see you next time. Have a safe Halloween. Dude, you gotta give this a try. This is just raw.